Hey guys, Luke here from Relevant Leads. I wanted to do a video today that just talks about how we reverse competitors for our clients in Google Organic and why we do that. So one of the first things we always want to ask ourselves is it worth it? Is it worth doing SEO? Is it worth putting a fairly substantial amount of money invested and waiting for 6 or 12 months for something to work? And so when someone comes to me and says, I want to be like this guy on page one, the first thing I ask is, you have no idea what he's actually making unless you're best friends with him or you have some sort of insider access to his books. But most of the time you're guessing that they're doing extremely well and that you could be too if you're at the top. And I always like to tell people, look, let's go into this and try and find the truth first. So what we first want to do is we want to validate what are they top ranking for? So this client came to me recently and said, I want to rank number one for CNC plasma tables. And these are tables that generally run between $2,000 and $30,000 or $40,000. Average order value is probably around $20,000. Net margins are around 40%. So what you're really looking for, this is a very high value product, especially if it's designed and manufactured by a private brand. So in this case, these are all private brands. So they don't necessarily have to price their products exactly the same as their competitors because it's a different product in many ways. It's the same, but it has different isms to it. It has different features to it than others do. So plus you have the branding factor. If someone's better branded, then someone's going to gravitate towards that because it's a cooler product, right? So those are the things we look for, right? And so why don't I pull this down here and let's go ahead and look through this together. So when I take Langmuir, for example, this is the client, this is the brand that my client wanted to reverse engineer. So the best way to look at this is to plug it into Ahrefs, which we've talked about before in a previous video. Are they getting traffic? Do they rank for keywords? That's the first thing. Is this even worth it? Then I want to look at, are they building links? And for a website that's top ranked, we can scroll down here on their top 5 keywords, and you can see they're number one for pretty much every major term in their space nationally. So this company is doing quite well. From talking with the client, they're probably doing somewhere, I want to say around $20 or $30 million a year in product sales. Obviously, a good portion of it's coming from being top ranked. These are really good terms and very high transactional rates. You can see the traffic value is about $20,000 a month. If you were to buy this traffic on Google Ads, which is a much worse user, you'd have to pay 20 grand a month. So very valuable traffic. So the first thing we want to find out is, are they building links? And immediately this signals to me that they're not, right? So they're not building links. They're not doing SEO. The other thing we want to look for is, do they have a blog? They have a forum, but a forum is a subdomain or a different website completely. So it's not going to associate any blogging content to this domain at all. And the point of blogs really, for SEO purposes, is to build content that talks about your money page content, your primary terms, your primary keywords that you're going after, your primary pages. You want to build long form blogs that allow for internal linking and wrapping of that topic so that Google looks at your main page, your main money pages, and says, these guys are a leader in this space. It's one of the key factors in scaling SEO correctly. And so you can tell that this website doesn't do any blogging at all. They have a forum, which is not the same thing. And I'm not going to click on it because it takes us off site here. But they don't have any on-page blog. They're not adding constant content to this website. They're pretty static. And they're not doing any link building because we can see here in the referring domains that it's only 76 after however many years. And most of these are no-follow links. In other words, they're citations. They're from a directory listing or something that's not really providing any kind of authority. So a very beatable domain when you really look at this from this standpoint. Now, normally they would look at this and say, this company is doing $20 million a year. We could never catch them. And that's the thought for most people when they look on page one and they look at these companies on page one. They think, man, we're not big enough to do that. We can't catch up to them. the reality is these guys don't have very much built. And what they do have built, most of it's not passing any authority, and they don't have any blogs set up. So they're not really doing any ongoing educational content. They're lacking all of the pieces that they need to stay up at the top if someone does come up from behind them to take their traffic. And that's exactly what we will do with our client is we will restructure their site similar to this, but building more content. But then we will be able to drip in more blogs and do more link building correctly, and over time outperform them. And eventually these keywords that we were just looking at, our client will be top ranked for these. So that's how I would reverse engineer these is I would look at this and go, what are they building? Are they doing ongoing content? Are they telling Google that they're a good company? Are they showing Google that they're a good company? And how are they going about that? So if we're able to do that and show that to somebody, it gives somebody a very clear picture of how long is this going to take and what do I need to get there. So I always tell clients, don't be intimidated by people that are up at the top, thinking that you can't beat them. Everyone is beatable, and through this process of dissecting things, it gives us the ability to really structure campaigns the right way so that the client always wins. So I hope this video is helpful, and if you guys have any questions, comment below or send me a message, and I'd love to have a look at your stuff for you. Thanks.